Okay, so we have prepped our area, and now I want to talk a little bit about what we'll need to do if this were going to be an actual countertop that I was going to pour. First of all, we want to make sure, if possible, that we have rounded edges. Now, if this were a piece of Formica and it was a 90-degree edge, I would come in here with either a router or a sander, and I would try to at least knock off a little bit of that 90-degree angle. And the reason is, when I pour my epoxy, we really want that epoxy to roll and flow over the edge. Also, I'd like to round the bottom off if possible. I know a lot of times on existing countertops, you're not able to do that. But if you are able, it's really good, because what happens is as the epoxy flows over, what'll happen if it's a 90-degree, it'll build up on this edge, and you'll actually have a little bump here where the epoxy has built up, and because of surface tension, it's not wanting to drip. So if you do have a 90-degree angle, what you can do to kind of alleviate that bump is, as your process is going and your epoxy is starting to set up, a lot of times I'll take my finger and I'll rub this area just to help that epoxy go ahead and flow over the edge. So if you are able to get rid of those 90-degree angles, you're a step ahead of the game. Also, I would come in here and make sure this is sanded. Now this piece, because we do use it in our classes, we've let the students prep the seam with Bondo. So now we have a nice even surface. You can't see where we put the faceplate on, so there's no visible seam. And then right here, I would probably I still have some area, if this were an existing countertop and I had any kind of area where I could feel a bump, if I shut my eyes and I could run my finger over anything, you will be able to see that transpose through the epoxy. So I would want to come back and either sand this or put a little more Bondo and make sure that this is nice and smooth. Same thing over here. Any of the, if you have little nail holes or anything where you can see it or feel it, you'll want to address that. Okay, so in our class, we teach how to seam big pieces of countertop together. And on this area right here, we've taken the seam, we've put our seam together with quick coat, and we've sanded it. So now it's very, very smooth. So if I were to shut my eyes and run my hand over this area and I can't feel a seam, then that's not going to transpose through my epoxy. But you want to make sure that it's super smooth before you pour. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're pretending that this is the end cap of our existing pour. So I've taped off and I've put plastic sheeting to protect this end. But if you have your edges, and let's say that your wall is like this one, it's just kind of coming off at a 90-degree angle. Epoxy is a sneaky little devil, and that epoxy will seep all in any little crack that you can ever imagine. So any crack that you have here or any area that would be coming down, you want to make sure that you really address and over prep this area, because if you did not take care of this area here or something like this, you could easily get epoxy to drip down into your under cabinet area. So you really want to think, where could that epoxy possibly slide through, because it will. I hope you enjoyed a few of my tips and tricks, and it helps you to kind of get a step ahead as you prepare for your DIY project. Hit the bell for future notifications, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel. And until next time, don't be scared, move forward, and be creative.